Music. Come here, baby. When I really look back over the last 25 years, I can only say that life is life. What was the terrible secret Teddy Pendergrass took with him when he passed away? Why did he hide such a big part of his life? I never really got a chance to tell my side of things. And it was important to me. It's very important to me. Teddy was known for his amazing voice and hits, but there were things about his life that he never shared. What was he hiding, and why did it stay a secret until his death? Let's find out. I was born to a very, very religious mother who kept me in church. I used to go to church 6 days a week, born on March 26, 1950 inches. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was the only child of Jesse and Ida Geraldine Pendergrass. His mother Ida thought of him as a special gift from God. She was so happy when he was born, calling him a blessing before Teddy was born. His parents met and married in South Carolina in 1936, but soon after, Jesse had to leave because he was drafted into the army during World War II. Even though they were apart for some time, their love stayed strong as a child. Teddy was very connected to music. His early years were filled with singing, especially at church by the age of 2. He was already singing, and by 3, he impressed everyone at church with his version of the song. If I could write a letter to heaven, his love for music was clear from an early age. To go to church 6 days a week, spirituality is just a part of who I am. Irregardless of the songs I sing, irregardless of all of the other fluffing stuff, Teddy's mother Ida was always there for him, making sure he had what he needed to grow and succeed. She made sure he had plenty of chances to learn and enjoy life, even taking him ice skating. Teddy also did well in school at McIntyre Elementary. He showed that he was smart and hardworking, but his heart was always in music, so he joined school choirs to sing. Growing up, Teddy's mother supported his love for music in many ways. At her workplace there were heavy musical machines, and Teddy would often play the drums when no one was around. This helped him get better at playing music and fueled his dreams. Later, they moved to an apartment near the Uptown Theater in Philadelphia. This place was the center of Philadelphia's R&B scene, and it was here where Teddy saw many amazing performances by famous artists. One performance that had a big impact on Teddy was by Jackie Wilson. Jackie was a very popular singer known for his exciting stage presence. Teddy was amazed at how much the women in the audience loved Jackie. This moment made Teddy want to be a singer too. He was inspired by the way Jackie made people feel, and he also liked the attention he got from girls. This helped push him toward a career in music. As Teddy grew older, he started to move away from his church roots, but he never lost his love for music. He kept singing, and even joined the Edison Master Singers at Thomas Alla Edison High School. But life wasn't always easy for Teddy. He grew up in a neighborhood in Philadelphia that had a lot of gang activity, when one day, Teddy saw a robbery being committed by 2 young men. Even though he didn't do anything wrong, he was mistakenly arrested and sent to the Youth Study Center for 4 months. This was a very hard time for him, and it stayed with him for many music years. Teddy Pendergrass faced many tough challenges in his life, but his commitment to earning an honest living never wavered. He was raised with strong Christian values, which taught him the importance of hard work. Teddy always dreamed of becoming a singer, and even when things got difficult, he didn't give up along the way. He took on drumming jobs at small clubs to make a living while still working toward his goal. When I really look back over the last 25 years, I can only say that life is life. Teddy's talent was undeniable. A music producer named Huff once said his voice just roared over you. He had that baritone voice. Teddy was raw. I think Teddy really knew how good he was. But he started as a drummer who sang in the background. A big moment in Teddy's career came when he met G. Lawson, a talent scout who promised to help him become a star. Under Lawson's guidance, Teddy recorded a few songs like We Got Love and Should I Go or Should I Stay? But sadly, the records were never released. Lawson disappeared, leaving Teddy without a clear path forward. At 18, Teddy moved to Atlantic City, a place known for its live music. Worked as a waiter at a club and got a chance to audition as a drummer for a performer named Little Royal Teddy, impressed everyone and landed the job. But after a disappointing tour, he returned home feeling discouraged. Despite these setbacks, Teddy didn't give up. He joined groups, like Signs of the Times and the Soul Messengers, learning and growing in his career. Eventually, Teddy's big break came when he was hired by the Cadillacs. This performance set him on the path to stardom, and it was just the beginning of his incredible journey in music. One night, while performing with the group Harold Melvin, the leader of the well-established Blue Notes, noticed something special in Teddy Pendergrass. Teddy was a drummer at the time, but Melvin saw his talent, offered him a spot in the group. This offer would change Teddy's life forever. He started out as the lead singer for Melvin and the Blue Notes. Working with Harold Melvin was a turning point in Teddy's career. Teddy often said that this time in his life was the most important for his growth. He learned many valuable lessons from Melvin, especially how to survive in the tough world of show business. Even though the Blue Notes were a known group, they weren't yet famous. They were always performing, but they didn't have many big hits. The group faced tough times, and money was always tight. Teddy and the others often struggled to find food and afford hotel rooms at this point. Teddy was mostly known for his drumming skills, but he had bigger dreams. He wanted to sing, but he thought it was unlikely. Sometimes he sang with the group, but he never had the chance to be the lead singer, and that frustrated him one day. Teddy was talking to a dancer at a club and told her he was thinking about quitting the group, Harold. Melvin overheard the conversation and didn't want to lose Teddy, so he made him a new offer to join the singing part of the group. Teddy was thrilled and accepted right away. You went away, doing, with Teddy now singing alongside Harold. The group began to get more attention. They didn't have much money yet, but things started to look up. In 1972, they performed at the Apollo Club in Camden, New Jersey. There they caught the eyes of Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff, two big names in the music industry who worked at Philadelphia International Records. Their interest in the group was the beginning of better days. As the group grew in popularity, Harold Melvin decided to change the group's name to Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. He did this to show that he was still in charge, but it also seemed like he was jealous of Teddy, who had become the fan favorite despite the tough times. This was just the beginning of Teddy Pendergrass' rise to stardom. In August 1972, Teddy Pendergrass and his group, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, released their first single under a new label called I Miss You on My Hands and Knees, Wishing for Your Return. The song did well, but it was their next hit, If You Don't Know Me By Now, that made them famous. You Don't Music. No, it was a huge success, topping the US R&B chart and reaching number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. Teddy's success brought him fame, money, and the kind of lifestyle he had always dreamed of. One of the group's other members, Charles Mint, remembered how important Teddy was. If there wasn't no Teddy, there wouldn't have been no Blue Notes. Mint said he also mentioned how Teddy's work helped the big names in the music industry like Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff make it to the music top. However, things didn't stay perfect for Teddy. Despite his big role in the group's rise to success, he started to feel like he wasn't being treated fairly. Teddy was frustrated because he felt like Harold Melvin, the leader of the group, was taking too much control and not doing enough to help the group. Teddy was upset because Harold's behavior was making things difficult for the band. Harold wasn't helping with performances and was only focused on himself. One example of this was when the group played at the Playboy Club in Los Angeles. There was a disagreement between Harold and the club managers, which led to the group having to pay for their own stay. While Harold lived comfortably, the rest of the band members were struggling to make ends meet. While Harold was enjoying himself with his wealthy friends, when they asked Teddy to speak to Harold about helping them out financially, he saw something that made him even angrier. He went to Harold's room and saw him with a pile of cash, laughing and spending money, while the rest of the band was in a tough spot. After that night, Teddy decided he had enough. He was not going to tolerate the exploitation any longer and made the decision to quit the group. News of Teddy Pendergrass' departure from Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes spread, causing the group's popularity to wane and leading to other members exiting to join Teddy. Despite threats of bodily harm from Harold Melvin, Teddy remained steadfast in his pursuit of a solo music career in need of a manager to navigate the business aspects of the music industry. Teddy turned to Taze Lang, a smart and successful full businesswoman and the ex-wife of Philadelphia Eagles fullback Izzy Lang at the time, Taz was Teddy's girlfriend, known for her connections with high-profile celebrities like Don Warwick and Nancy Wilson. Taz was admired by Teddy for her intellect and beauty. He moved into her Mount Airy home, a popular gathering place for celebrities. With their relationship flourishing, Teddy asked Taz for a $155,000 loan to support his Teddy Bear Productions company, offering her 1% of the royalties from his first album. T. Lang played a big role in Teddy Pendergrass. His life, she was his business manager and helped him with a solo deal. After their breakup, however, there was a problem in the contract they signed. It said that Taz would receive 10% of Teddy's earnings, not just from his first album, but from all his future albums and business deals. Teddy didn't like this because it made him feel trapped, just like he had with his old business partner, Harold Melvin. Teddy tried to talk to TOS about it, but she wouldn't change the contract, turn off music. Despite the disagreement, they kept working together, but Teddy started to lose trust in TS, who he had once relied on to protect him from being taken advantage of. After a while, T decided to leave and go home. She called her mother, Ava Ritter, saying she had something important to tell her, but didn't say what. It was sadly, that was the last thing TOS ever said to her. Her mother on April 14th, 1977 TS was shot, and outside her home, she was with Joseph Jojo Tinez, an employee of Teddy's, when a person came out from behind some bushes and shot her. Jojo was getting something from the car when it happened. The police never solved the case, and many questions remain. Some people thought the shooting was meant to scare Taz, but it ended up her. Jojo, deeply shaken, struggled with the memory of that night until he died. In 2013, there were many rumors about why. Taz was some thought it had to do with her influence over Teddy in his career, especially with the people who didn't like her standing up for him. A week after the sad loss of his friend, Teddy Pendergrass took a big step forward in his career. He made his solo debut at New York City's Carnegie Hall, which was a huge moment for him soon after he released his first solo album, Teddy Pendergrass, which became very popular. It went platinum, held by hits like I Don't Love You Anymore, I Don't, and the Whole Town's Laughing at Music Me. The album also had great songs, like You Can't Hide From Yourself, and If I Had in 1978. Teddy followed up with another hit album, Life is a Song Worth Singing. This album had the hit song Close the Door, which went straight to #1 on the R&B charts. Girl, It's Me. It also featured tracks like When Somebody Loves You, Backs You Back, and It Don't Hurt. Now, the album went double platinum, with showed how much people loved his music. Teddy kept going strong with albums. In the following years, his 1979 album Teddy, in the 1980 album TP, had hits like Love, TKO, and Feel the Fire, a duet with Stephanie Mills. His music became a regular part of R&B history. By 1982, Teddy had released 5 platinum albums in a row, a record for an R&B artist. His concerts were sold out. He even bought a huge mansion, similar to Elvis's Graceland. Come Here Baby. Now, not everyone was a fan of his image, especially the way he presented himself on stage. Some people loved his focus on romantic songs and performances for women, while others felt it limited his artistic abilities. One of the main things Teddy was known for was his ladies only persona. When he performed, he often focused on making women feel special. He had a way of singing that made women in the audience feel like he was singing just for them. He even made his concerts feel like a special event just for women with him as their charming and romantic hero. While many women loved this, some critics thought it was too much. They believed it was as if Teddy was only singing to one group of people. They argued that by focusing so heavily on his image as a ladies' man, he wasn't showing all of his talents as an artist. Another criticism of Pendergrass's the ladies-only persona was that it seemed to be a marketing tool. Some felt he was more focused on selling albums and tickets than on expressing himself through his music. It's true that his smooth and romantic image made him a commercial success, but not everyone was impressed by this. Some critics thought that by sticking to this image, Teddy was missing out on a chance to show a wider range of emotions and musical styles. They believed he could have done more with his voice and his songs if he stepped Out of the box of being just the heartthrob singer, one of the scariest events in his life happened on March 18th, 1982, just before his 32nd birthday, when he experienced an accident that changed his life forever. This incident, which he talks about in his book, Truly Blessed, has haunted him ever since. On that night, Teddy was at Club Elon with his friend Icha, enjoying his time as the popular ladies' man he was. The two were approached by Tenica Watson, someone Teddy vaguely remembered from the 1970 seconds. What Teddy didn't know was that Tenica-born John Watson had transitioned to a woman in 1977. She had always felt she was trapped in the wrong body. As the night went on and IA had to work the next day, Teddy offered to give her a ride home. He asked Tenica to come along, promising to return her to the club. Later, Tenica recalled the moment, saying he called me over to his car. It was a Rolls Royce. I thought he was a pimp because I wasn't used to people really having Rolls Royces, he said. I'm getting ready to leave too. Would you like a ride home? So I said sure. After dropping Icha off at her place, Teddy and Tenica headed back through the city. They were on Lincoln Drive, a road known for its sharp curves, when disaster struck the brakes on Teddy's Rolls Royce, failed, and the car crashed into a tree. Teddy was severely hurt. He broke his neck, leaving him paralyzed from the chest down. Despite the severity of the crash, Tenica only had minor injuries, which led to some strange rumors. People started to wonder if Tenica might have been part of a plan to hurt Teddy after the crash. Tenica tried to contact Teddy, but her efforts were unsuccessful. She caused a scene when she said, "Well, you're not going to see him before his son does." At left it was. It wasn't long before investigations revealed that someone had tampered with the car's brakes, making it clear that the crash was no accident. Teddy sued Rolls-Royce and won. This raised more questions. Who would want to harm Teddy, considering his fame and his fast driving habits? I never really got a chance to tell my side of things, and it was important to me. It's very important to me at the time. Teddy's driver's license had been suspended due to unpaid parking tickets, and later it was discovered that his other cars had also been tampered with just a week before the crash. Teddy was involved in a minor crash with his Maserati. Adding to the stress, he even thought that the police might have been involved since he had previously sued them for harassment. It's hard not to think about how much potential Teddy had at the time. He was only 32, and it seemed like he was just about to reach his peak. He had an amazing career ahead of him, and then, in the blink of an eye, it was taken away. People began to wonder, did Teddy push his limits too far, just like many famous people before him, or was this an unfortunate turn of events that caught up with him due to the mistakes he had made in the past? We can only guess. After the accident, Teddy went through some tough times. He struggled with depression and lost the confidence he once had. At one point, he even thought about ending his life. On top of that, his fans moved on, quickly turning their attention to Marvin Gaye's new hit song. Healing, Teddy was feeling forgotten and unsure if he could return to his music career. But after a year of hard rehabilitation, Teddy made a strong comeback. In 1983, he signed with Electro Asylum and released the album Love Language, which became a big success. Reaching gold status in 1984, his old record label Philadelphia International also released 2 albums of Teddy's unreleased songs. This One's For You in 1982 and Heaven Only Knows in 1983. The return to the stage was emotional. In 1985, he performed at the Live Aid concert in Philadelphia. This was his first live performance since the accident, and it was a special moment in front of an audience of over 999,000 people and millions of TV viewers. Teddy sang Diana Ross's Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand. Alongside Ashford and Simpson, he told the crowd, "I am truly grateful to be here today, and I want you to know I feel your love." Later that year, he released another album, Working It Back, just when things seemed to be getting better. Tragedy struck on July 3rd, 1986. Teddy was driving a special van when it crashed into a telephone pole. He was badly hurt. Suffering from internal bleeding, he had to have surgery to see how serious the damage was. Despite these injuries, Teddy didn't give up. He kept making music, In 1988, he released the album Joy, and the title song became a big hit, staying at number 1 on the R&B charge for 2 weeks. In 1993, he released another album called A Little More Magic. However, by the late 1992, Teddy spent less time in the spotlight and mostly worked on music for a different label. Teddy also wrote his autobiography Truly Blessed in 1991, but after that he stayed away from the public eye, mostly due to health problems. In 2009, he had surgery for colon cancer and seemed to be recovering well. Sadly, things took a turn for the worse. Just weeks later, he had trouble breathing and was taken back to the hospital. After months of fighting, Teddy Pendergrass passed away on January 13th, 2010, at the age of 59. He was surrounded by his loved ones. His final resting place is at West Laurel Hill Cemetery in Pennsylvania.